Okay, so today's mindfulness video is about you being mindful about how you work and how productive you are, and hopefully will make you more productive. Okay, so today we're going to talk a little bit about multitasking. We're going to do a little task to show you what multitasking is. Now, multitasking basically splits down into two different sections, most people agree. So there's switch tasking and background tasking. Okay, so background tasking is what a lot of people do. When we go into work out at the gym, or we're doing a bit of work and put some music on in the background. So we're not really focusing on the music, but it's on there in the background. And actually, lots of studies are showing that that can be really quite helpful and help increase your productivity. So, for example, if you're in the gym, you listen to some fast-paced music, it normally makes you work out a little bit harder. If you're doing a bit of work and you're listening to some slow, calm music at 60 beats per minute, roughly, without any lyrics, then that can actually help you with your learning and with your work. Personally, I like to listen to something called binaural beats, and they're meant to help activate different parts of your brain, and you can get them for concentration and memory as I'm working, and that seems to help me out. So background tasking can be really helpful. Just make sure with background tasking you're not doing things like trying to do a bit of work whilst having the TV on the background, because what happens then is you'll end up falling back into switch tasking. Okay, now switch tasking is what most people think of as multitasking. That's when they're trying to do more than one thing at the same time. And what happens is you can't do more than one thing at the same time. Your brain can only focus on one thing. So what you do is you end up switching between the tasks really quickly. All right, so an example there would be having the TV on the background when you're doing your work. You're doing a bit of work, then you're watching the TV for a bit, then you're doing a bit of work, you're watching the TV for a bit, and you keep flipping between the two. Or if you've got two separate tasks to do at work, and you keep flipping between the two tasks. Okay, now a lot of studies have shown that switch tasking is actually really bad for productivity. Okay, and really hampers how well you can work, the quality of your work at the end, the speed at which you can complete the work, and your stress level as well. Because if you think about it, every time you switch onto a different task, your brain's got to re-catch up with where it was on the task, and then think about the next step. Because if you just focus on one task, that kind of time isn't lost, and you're not feeling too stressed about everything that's going on. So we're going to do a little experiment just to prove this point to you about switch tasking. So what you need to do is you need to grab a piece of paper and a pen. Just pause the video quickly while you go and grab those. Okay, so on your piece of paper, what I want you to do, here's my piece of paper, is just draw two lines going across. Can you see that? Two straight lines going across landscape, a bit like that. All right, excellent. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at switch tasking and single tasking. So single tasking is when you just do one thing at a time. All right, and we're going to see if we can do this in an experiment, which will help really ram home the point that actually this is the way that you need to work, and not do the switch tasking and the multitasking. Okay, so what you're going to do in a minute when I ask you to start, all right, is you're just going to write out the words. You can see that multitasking does not work on the line, and underneath you're going to write out the numbers from 1 all the way up there to 23. Okay, does that make sense? So don't start yet. I'll leave this kind of up there so you can see it. All right, I want you to time it. So I've got a stopwatch here on my phone. So I'm just going to time it, okay? And Mark, I'll read it, I'll shout sometimes. Once you've finished it, can you just write down roughly how many seconds it took you? Marks, get set, go. That's 10 seconds. 20 seconds. 30 seconds. 40 seconds. And 50 seconds. So we'll stop there because most people are probably finished by 50 seconds. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to do exactly the same thing, but this time with a slight difference. Okay, so you're still going to write out the same sentence, multitasking does not work, and the same numbers 1 to 21. But the rule this time is you must write a letter, then a number, then a letter, then a number, then a letter, then a number. So for example, you might start with the letter M, and then the number 1, and then the letter U, and the number 2, etc. Okay? So what I would like you to do is I'm going to, again, read out the times again, shout out the times as you do it. And I'd like to try and fill in that whole sentence in exactly that way. So letter, number, letter, number, letter, number. And this is simulating your brain switching between the tasks of writing out the letters and writing out numbers. You were single tasking on the top line, multitasking on the bottom one, okay? So letter, number, okay? Are you ready? Let's get our timer started. Oh, your marks, get set, go. That's 10 seconds. 20 seconds. 30 seconds. 40 seconds. 50 seconds. And that's 60 seconds. We'll stop there after a minute, okay? Now, what I want you to do is I want you to make sure you've written down how many seconds it took you the second time. I want you to look at your work. So what you should find, what most people find, is that one, the second time they've done it, their work is much less neat. It's not as a good quality as it was the first time. They've maybe made more mistakes. Maybe they've missed out letters or they've missed out numbers along the way. It's probably taking you longer to do. Okay, so instead of it being the number of seconds for the first time, it'll probably be longer for the second time. And the final thing is you're probably feeling a little bit more stressed doing it the second time than you were the first time. First time you probably felt, oh, it's a little bit stressful because I'm doing it for the first time. But the second time you're probably thinking, actually, this isn't good. I'm really worried I'm going to miss something out, or I'm going to make a mistake, and I'm timed against the clock and everything else. So those are the three things that happen when you switch task. It's not the same quality of the work that you produce. It takes you longer, and it causes more anxiety and stress. So the idea is that you should single task at all times. Now, where this comes across in the classroom especially is the classic when students are trying to do their work but also talking to their mates at the same time. They're switch tasking between their work and their conversation with their mate. So the conversation with their friend is never going to be as good a quality as it should be when you talk to people because you're not giving them full attention. And also the quality of the work that they're producing is never going to be that good. So they either produce work that isn't very good quality, it's a bit messy, or they don't remember anything that they've done. And that's the classic that you get from students in classrooms where they go, oh yeah, I did the work, I got it right in the lesson, but as soon as I left the lesson, I couldn't remember a thing of it. That's because they've been trying to switch task with the person they've been talking to. And because of that, the brain's had to make an active choice as to which bit they concentrate on more at the time. And invariably, it'll be the conversation that they remember, not the maths work or whatever work that they've been doing at the time. Okay, so I want you to think about that. I want you to try as much as you can for the next week or so, single tasking. So think about the task you need to complete the day. Think about one task at a time and just do that task until you've completed that task, completed it to a really good point, and have no distractions around you, except for maybe a little bit of background music, a little bit of useful background music that motivates you to carry on doing the work, especially if it's got no lyrics to it, because when you've got lyrics, your brain will try and concentrate on that and you turn into switch tasking very quickly. So just some music in the background, some nice slow 60 beats per minute music, because that's your natural resting heart rate. Right. So remember, practice mindfulness for 10 minutes a day for 4 weeks. You'll start noticing that you start feeling much calmer. You start becoming much more productive. Okay. We found that interesting and helpful. Bye.